Hello, everyone, and welcome to Overexposed, the BWRM podcast where we delve into the ins and outs of running a real estate photography and videography business. My name's Dave Temple.
And my name is Jacqui Kirk. We chat to a lot of people about BWRM, and there are some questions that come up pretty regularly. Although we love to repeat ourselves and talk, we thought that we might save everybody a bit of time and answer them here. So today's episode is going to be a general FAQ. Let's take it away, Dave. Let's start with the probably one of the first questions I get asked. Don't know about you, Dave, but people say, "Are you a franchise?" Or they just assume that we are a franchise. So for our listeners and everybody out there, no, we are not a franchise. It's probably easy to think that because we're a fairly unique business model, but what we are is a brand that you as an independent photographer or business owner would be licensing. So you license our brand, but you remain an independent business owner. You look after your clients, you take your payments, and we provide you with the engine that helps you to grow a sustainable and successful business. So and we're not knocking franchises, there are many great franchises out there, but we don't charge you to purchase a territory. We don't charge a monthly franchise fee. We don't take a percentage of your income or anything like that. There's a whole lot of, you guys can go read, it's a really long, detailed legal thing. A whole lot of things franchises do that we don't do. So we provide territories. We charge a monthly licensing fee. We don't have lock-in contracts. We have licensing agreements, but they're not lock-in and they don't have restraints of trade. So if you are unhappy at BWRM or you don't want to do it anymore, you want to do something else, you can leave at any time and you can carry on doing whatever you want outside of BWRM. So that's kind of the main differences, I think. Dave, are there any more that I've missed?
I don't think so.
Main thing is we're not a franchise. We're a brand. Our members are independent business owners and they license our brand. Dave, why don't you take the next question? Does BWRM provide me with clients?
So the answer is no, we don't provide you with clients, although there might be referrals from other areas. What we do is provide you with all the tools, our pillars, to assist you to create and run your own business. We'll show you all of the BWRM sales processes and presentations so you know exactly how to win in your market. Again, leading on from the first question, this is your independent business and it's your responsibility to go and get clients, but we will help you every step of the way to have the tools available to do that.
Yeah, I think, again, because we're not charging franchise fees and because we're not selling off territories for thousands of dollars, the only way that BWRM makes money is if our members are successful. So while our members they own their own businesses and they're responsible for going out and finding their clients, every single thing that we do is geared towards helping them succeed in that because it's obviously in everybody's interests. So we'll go into this a little bit later, but from sales courses that we have available to people in our community and all of the things that you would have possibly already heard about in the pillars, there's a huge amount of support to help you learn how to sell. We've been there ourselves and we know it can be difficult. So we've done everything we can think of to help people do that and do it successfully.
So I think it's important to just reiterate that thing about referrals. So, you know, we're a pretty big brand these days, and you do get referrals from other BWRM members who, you know, people have moved out of their area or heard of BWRM from other places. So work does come, but you don't build a business without going and trying to get clients yourself.
Absolutely. I've definitely gotten clients off the back of relationships that neighbouring territory business owners have had with the same brand and vice versa. We get inquiries via our website, that sort of thing. But yeah, the vast majority of your work, you will have to find yourself.
So on to the next question. Can you teach me how to sell? Because I've never done it before.
Yes, we can. So we've got two options. We've got all of our manuals and documentation within our portal. Our members have access to just tons and tons, pages of manuals that cover everything from how to shoot, how to compose your photos, to how to sell, what to say in a meeting. We've got examples of a sales presentation that you can do, all of that sort of thing. That's just included. All of our members have access to that. We also work with Bob McCarthy from Integrity Selling, who you guys will have heard. I can't remember what episode number it is, but they're not that many, just
Episode 7.
Episode 7, there you go. Bob McCarthy. So that's an externally run sales course that Bob runs that we give our members access to. That is, we don't take any money off that. Our members pay for that themselves, and it's between them and Integrity. But we provide access to that.
It's not just a case of giving you the access to the sales help and access to a sales course and the presentations. There's along the way, there are the workshops which will support you in the journey of growing a business. So if you try some of the techniques and they don't work, you've always got somebody experienced to ask and other people around you to help you along the way.
Yeah. And again, BWRM as a brand is not successful unless our members are successful. So we do everything we can to teach people how to sell, to check in with them, to see what their challenges are, to put them in touch with other members who may have had similar challenges that they've overcome. If you're worried about being able to sell, as long as you are willing to put in the work and learn and do personal development on that, using the tools that we're providing and all the support systems that we're providing, I would say don't worry about it. You can learn it. Look at Dave. He used to work on a computer in a cupboard, and he's a sales expert. So that takes us to, it's kind of linked to the next question. Will BWRM charge me for training? The answer to that is no. Because we're not a franchise, we do not charge for training. All of our training, our monthly workshops and our conferences are built into our membership fee. Where external training is offered, it's always optional and it's paid directly to that service provider. So that being Bob or Richard, if he's doing a vision to work with you or something like that. We don't take kickbacks from that either. Just bear in mind, guys, that when we're talking about training in how to shoot real estate, how to sell, that sort of thing. If you have never picked up a camera, if you don't know the difference between aperture and ISO and that sort of thing, then I would strongly recommend that you go and you do a bit of online research. You could do a course, or you could just look it up and start practicing yourself. Our training starts assuming that you understand how to use a camera as a bare minimum.
Cool. So I guess the next question then is, how does BWRM make money?
Yes, a very commonly asked question. So BWRM will charge for the products that we supply our members, which is one of our pillars. You guys can go and listen to it on the Products podcast. So our members use BWRM products exclusively for their post-production. That means if you're licensed as a BWRM member and you're shooting as a BWRM business, all of your post-production is done through BWRM's post-production teams. This includes image production, video editing, and floor plan drawing. So if you shoot an image, we charge for the edit. If you don't shoot an image, we don't charge you for the edit. Which again means our success is your success. So that's how BWRM makes its money. It's also important to understand that all the directors that have created BWRM and run BWRM, we're running our own businesses through BWRM too. We're paying the same fees. It's also really important to know that when you join BWRM, we work really closely with every member to make sure that their pricing is sustainable and it's set to include decent margins on the products that they're offering so that they can grow. So if you don't shoot, you don't pay for retouching. If you shoot loads, your retouching bill would be higher, but so will your invoice to your clients. So your costs are directly linked to the work that you're doing, which is really important. It just as a little side note, that means that, during COVID when things shut down, I know I personally didn't have huge overheads. I'm not sitting in an office. I'm not, paying tons of staff members. It was really just those costs associated to actually doing the work. So as long as we were frugal, we were able to survive when a lot of companies really battled.
Yeah, and it's really important to do that work up front and make sure you get it right so that you don't end up 18 months in doing a lot of work and not making any money.
And we've got, like I said, huge amount of information on that to help people. We've got pricing calculators. We talk about margins, percentages, what to pay your contractors, all of that stuff to make sure that from the very beginning, you're setting yourself up to succeed. But we have gone down a bit of a long divergent path there. But that is the answer to how BWRM makes money.
You make money because you make money.
Yes.
As simple as that.
Yeah. So here's another question that's actually really difficult to answer because it depends on the person. But how much will I make in my first year? And can you make a decent living doing this? We don't like answering this because honestly, if you do all the right things, you're going to do very well. And if you follow the training and you follow the advice and you follow the steps on our pathway, which is another pillar episode, then you'll do very well. But I also know that when people are sitting there and they're trying to make a pretty big decision about whether to go down this track, just a vague words of you'll do well isn't very helpful. So we've developed a roadmap to success that if you followed, you could be earning from $0 to $8,000 per month within your first year. That's a rough sort of guide that we give people, $8,000 a month within your first year if you're following all the steps. The next part of that question is, can you make a decent living doing this? And that is just absolutely yes, you can. I think our biggest businesses are turning over more than $1 million a year with very healthy margins on that. So yes, you can make a really good living doing this, working for yourself and having a good lifestyle, 100%.
Yeah, I think a lot of people outside of the industry don't really understand the amount of work that is available out there. Our biggest businesses are regularly doing more than 200 jobs a month. 3 or 4 of the top businesses have got full-time employees out working all the time. You obviously don't have to get to that stage if you don't want to, but that you can certainly build a good, successful, strong business.
Now, some of you might already know about territories, and hearing what we've just said about how well you can be doing, you might be a little bit skeptical. The next question is, why do we assign exclusive territories and how are they calculated? I'll answer the first half of that question, and Dave, you could do how are they calculated because that's your thing. So the reason we assign exclusive territories is it's really important for us to create a community of supportive business owners. So we don't see each business as isolated and on their own. So much of our value comes from our community, from our people, from help and support that people get. So we assign exclusive territories. The first main reason is that we don't want our members to be competing with each other. We want them to be helping each other. So that might make you think that you're going to be really restricted in how much you can grow and how much money you can make. While you might be restricted geographically, we've been doing this a long time and we've done a lot of trial and error on the size of a territory. And what we've discovered is that if you have a territory that's too big, people tend to actually fail faster on a really large territory because they spend all their time in the car basically, and they don't spend their time building businesses. Equally, a territory that's too small or doesn't have enough work in it, that might not obviously have enough jobs and have the opportunity to grow your business. So it's also interesting because depending where you are geographically, your population density changes. So if you're closer to a city, your territory might be smaller, but there's a lot more action, a lot more turnover, probably a lot more houses to shoot. Whereas if you're out somewhere rural, you're going to have a really large territory with a lot of postcodes or maybe just a few postcodes, but the postcodes are massive. So we look at all of that, and I think that takes you to Dave on exactly how do you calculate the territories, Dave? What goes into your data there?
So it's a balance, really. We base it initially on where you live because you don't want to be traveling 3 hours to work just to get to your area. Being local is important in terms of winning business and also managing your business. We also base it on the number of agencies that are available in your area because there needs to be a certain amount to make it viable. And then it's just a case of working out where the population centres are, where the agencies are, and travel times and all those kind of things. Again, you don't want to be traveling 3 hours in one direction to do a $200 job and then 3 hours, the other direction to do another $200 job because you'll spend it all on petrol. So having the right size area to be able to grow a successful business with the availability of the number of agencies and the population centres is how we do it.
Yeah, and we certainly don't want to limit people's growth. We're very selective about who our members are. We want them to be good people who want to grow successful businesses. And the last thing we want to do is to have them not reach their potential or go as far as they would want to go. So all of that is considered.
And so next question is, how many businesses run under the BWRM brand currently?
We've got approximately 45 businesses across Australia and New Zealand. Most of them at the moment are in Australia, although we are speaking to a lot of people from New Zealand. So hello, New Zealanders. Amongst those businesses, we've got about 100 creators on the ground. So those are business owners shooting, contractors, floor planners, videographers, all the teams out there shooting for BWRM. There's probably 100 people roughly doing that.
Here's a difficult question next. I'm already an independent. Why do I need BWRM?
So I think I'll start by saying you actually don't need us. There are lots of people running successful creative real estate businesses on their own, and you can absolutely do that. What we want to do is make it easier for you to do that, to help improve your quality of life and to help you grow and grow something that's more sustainable. Giving you the options and support. So using our 5 pillars, we want to help you regain quality of life. You may be currently doing your own post-processing, in which case we can offer you a lot in that department and your life will completely change. Once you stop doing that, you'll be able to grow a business, spend more time on relationships, spend more time doing what you want to do and what you love to do, and just, do more work, make more money, etc. If you're outsourcing in post-production, I'm pretty sure you would have had a few headaches there just trying to manage that. And when you're trying to manage your own business and look after your clients and get out there and shoot, and then you're also trying to manage your post-production teams, that can be quite a big stress point. So we take that management off your hands. Also having a backing to compete with really big companies. In my experience, smaller independent businesses who don't have the backing of a big machine, they get to a point where they're so busy that they start to let clients down and they don't have these support systems and support networks around them to help them. And that's when they start to lose work and go backwards. So what we offer is this big machine behind you where you can maintain your customer service and your relationships, because in my experience, that is the number one thing that sets independents apart, is they have really great relationships with their clients, but you have this huge supportive machine behind you that's going to help you when things are busy. And it's going to help you to not let down your clients.
I think something else worth mentioning is that, it's you could be running a completely successful independent business, managing your outsourcing, managing potentially a team as well, and just not have any time for yourself to take off 2 weeks for a holiday. And if you're running under BWRM and there's another BWRM territory near you who is interested in you succeeding and available in the network to be able to support you, you can do that. You can take 2 weeks off. Someone else can support your business, and you come back and it's all still there.
And I think we talk a lot on here about challenges that people face when they're starting their businesses, but there's a whole other realm of challenges that you'll face when you get to what we call like 750 points, 1,500 points. Once you've got a busy, successful business doing, 200 jobs a month or more, there's a whole other realm of challenges with managing staff, managing contractors, managing your calendar. And what's wonderful is that we have a number of businesses within BWRM who are very busy, very big, very successful. And so you're suddenly connected to all of these experts who've been where you are. You just have that support network. And if nothing else, just a bit of company as well, because it can be quite a lonely gig when you're just doing it on your own. And I think the other thing, which Dave, you didn't mention, but it's largely due to your work, is our portal that we have for people. So something that's custom built, designed website that allows people to run their photography businesses really efficiently, with access to our retouchers, clients, invoicing, all of that stuff. So that's the other thing that is really valuable to people who are already running successful independent businesses.
I think that's one of the frustrations that you see online a lot, that when people get to a certain size of business, the portal that they're using hasn't been designed with them in mind. It might be a generic photography portal, or it might be one specifically for real estate that doesn't quite fit their needs anymore. We've built the BWRM portal specifically for BWRM real estate businesses. And if it doesn't do something that you want it to do, then we're interested in hearing that so we can make it do that thing. So
yeah, exactly. It's not such a big company that your wants and needs are going to fall on deaf ears. It's all about, again, I sound like a broken record, but helping our members to succeed. One of the fun things I like on the portal is the fact that you can actually chat directly to the retouchers. So if you've gotten a job that comes back that has a special request, you can just open up the little chat box at the bottom, send them a message, and things are done. Send them reference images. But yeah, we're going to do a more in-depth look at the portal. It's the final pillar that we need to cover, so we're going to be doing that in a later podcast for you guys to listen to. Next question, Dave. How long has BWRM been around?
So BWRM started in 2016 with only 4 members. As we said before, we're up to around about 45 businesses now. Many of the members within BWRM have been shooting real estate for 15 years. So there's a lot of experience here. Even with the 4 directors, there's probably 100,000 shoots worth of experience just between us 4. If you add in the other 40 members, there's a lot of experience in real estate business within our network.
Dave, you could take this because I don't like talking about gear, but that's probably alienated a lot of people on here. Sorry, I just don't. But Dave, what gear does someone need starting out?
Right, so you'll need a good quality mirrorless DSLR, ideally. Ideally mirrorless because they're better for video, but good quality DSLR is important. You'll obviously need a wide lens, something like a 16-35mm. You'll need another lens for things like views, something between 24 and 70 would be good to start with. A critical, I think that people don't realise initially, it's critical to have a sturdy tripod, probably the most important tool we've got. So good quality sturdy tripod. A drone of some kind, can be a mini, can be something like a Mavic, but a drone nonetheless. A gimbal, obviously a computer and the internet. A car, because it's a long walk. And an iPad or pen and paper to draw floor plans.
And a floor plan measurer.
Yes.
Let's put that on the list.
Yes, exactly right. Next question is, my brand name is already well known. Do I have to change to BWRM instead?
No, we really appreciate that people have spent a lot of time and energy building personal brands, and we know that that's a huge, really valuable to them. So we do have the option for people joining us to be powered by BWRM, which means be your brand, which could be Dave's Awesome Picks, powered by BWRM.
One thing I would say, just from my experience, is that if you haven't got a brand and you're considering setting up Dave's Awesome Picks, firstly, make sure your name's Dave. That is quite important.
And that your picks are awesome.
But secondly, consider down the line that you might want to sell your business. If it's called Dave's Awesome Picks, you're very much restricting who you can sell it to. And calling it BWRM and joining in with that brand is a very good way of making it easier to sell your business. I've done that a couple of times, so I can speak from personal experience.
Yeah, I think if it were me and I hadn't already set up a brand, I would just go with the BWRM one. It's easier to explain to agents. It's got the website. It's got all the marketing material, everything that we do have marketing material and all of that stuff available for the powered by section as well. But if you haven't done one, if you haven't got a brand already, it's probably just easier to slot in under the BWRM heading.
Next question. I already have a full-time or part-time job. Can I keep doing that while I build up my BWRM business?
The short answer is no. Look, we've tried it because we've met some really great people who've wanted to do that and they've had everything else going for them except that they've had this other job. And the problem is they failed every time. You need to be available. You need to have time. You need to be able to drop everything and do what your brand new client needs you to do. Guy loves his cafe analogy. And he talks about, if you've just opened a new cafe, but it's only open occasionally, is it going to succeed? Probably not. It needs to be open when people are walking past it and then it's there. I don't know if I've done the analogy correctly, but basically, if you put yourself in the shoes, imagine you've spent all week marketing, you've been knocking on doors, you've been trying to visit agents and trying to get that first job. And on Monday morning, you get a call, an agent says, my photographer left me down. Can you do a shoot for me tomorrow morning first thing? and you've got to go to work. You're not going to get another opportunity like that easily. It just doesn't happen. It's really difficult at the beginning to build up that work. And if you're adding in that extra hurdle where you're not available, then it just 9 times out of 10, people just do not succeed. Our experience shows that people who are dedicated, flexible, and available are the most likely to be able to successfully grow a business. And particularly in the case of having a full-time job, it's extremely difficult to combine the two.
I think another thing to consider is that although it's terrifying leaving a full-time job and going into a business that clearly isn't earning any money on day one, there's nothing that will get you out of bed quicker than being in that situation. And, building a business is about drive and determination, and that's where it comes from. Knowing that unless you go and knock on doors, your business isn't going to grow. It's very easy to sit back in a full-time job and say that you'll do it tomorrow and not do it. So,
yeah, I talk a lot about when I first started and I was down in Wollongong, and we just had no other income and we didn't have any other work, and there was no choice but to get out there and knock on doors, and it forced me to do it. And yeah, we've seen that so often. It's the people that really have to do it. They do really well really quickly. So yeah, to answer the question, I already have a full-time, part-time job. Can I do this as a side hustle? You can have a go, but we probably wouldn't be bringing anybody on unless they're able to be fully available and dedicate everything they have to doing this properly.
Excellent. And last question, if I'm really interested in joining BWRM, which hopefully you are by this point in the podcast, what happens next once I've signed up? So what happens after you've signed up is that you'll have your email addresses set up. You'll get access to our system. You'll be signed up for the new member workshop, which runs monthly. You'll have a date arranged for your induction into BWRM, where we take you through the culture and how everything works, including things like client drivers, why they would want to buy from you. You'll get immediate access to our Discord, which means that you can meet the other members of BWRM and start to network with them. And there's also optional training on the portal so that you can get used to our system and how things work. You'll also receive daily emails telling you what you should be doing for the first, I believe it's week, so that you can get used to going out and shooting your own house or shooting a friend's house and start to get yourself up to speed.
And within the induction, you'll also get a weekly time picture. So we'll actually give you a timetable where we've written out every single thing you should be doing every single day from day one so that you can start building your business. So hopefully we've thought of everything. So far, people seem to be doing pretty well.
Another reason why it's very difficult to do it, just going back to the previous question, with a full or part-time job, because there's a lot to do.
Yeah, so I think that's all of our frequently asked questions. If you've gotten to this point and you have got more questions, or you're interested in joining BWRM or you just want to find out more, you can head to our website and book a call, and you'll be able to talk to one of us, and we'll hopefully be able to answer anything you have to ask us. Hopefully they'll be asked less frequently. I'm joking. We're always happy to answer these. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you have enjoyed the podcast, please like and subscribe. We appreciate the support. And we will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.